Lesson 196. It can be but myself I crucify. Welcome to the Qigong support for Course in Miracles students. I am Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. I'm very excited that we are getting towards the end of our first part of the Course in Miracles. These lessons are some of my favorite lessons and also some of the most important to kind of grasp before we move on to the review period in the second part of the Course in Miracles. So the way this is going to work today, we are going to read this lesson together, and at the end I'm going to guide you to a Qigong class which is going to help you internalize this lesson maybe a little bit better. And at the end, if you liked it, I would appreciate if you come and subscribe to my channel so more Course in Miracles students can find me, and let me know, give me feedback, let me know what you think, how the Qigong was for you, how long you've been with the Course in Miracles, and where you're watching from. Let's begin. Lesson 196. It can be but myself I crucify. When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself nor make your body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself, and you will understand his safety is your own, and in his healing you are healed. This is a very, very important lesson. It can be but myself I crucify. Perhaps at first you will not understand how mercy, limitless, and with all things held in its sure protection can be found in the idea we practice for today. It may in fact appear to be a sign that punishment can never be escaped because the ego, under what it sees as threat, is quick to cite the truth to save its lies. Yet must it fail to understand the truth it uses thus. But you can learn to see these foolish applications and deny the meaning they appear to have. It can be but myself I crucify. Thus do you also teach your mind that you are not an ego, for the ways in which the ego would distort the truth will not deceive you longer. You will not believe you are a body to be crucified, and you will see within today's idea the light of resurrection, looking past all thoughts of crucifixion and of death to thoughts of liberation and of life. And as I'm reading this together with you, I have just had my eldest son here, and my daughter, she lives with me, and also my youngest son is on holiday from Denmark. And a couple of evenings ago, we started talking, and the whole thing just exploded. And my eldest son and my daughter and me, that we are kind of very similar in the explosiveness. And before you knew it, we had a full-blown discussion about nothing important. And I couldn't help myself to just observe how this whole thing was just getting worse, more and more out of hand, attacking each other and making points and doing this and the other. And then somehow we calmed down again, and a half hour later we could laugh again. And I was contemplating about it. I was thinking, why is it that I cannot, when I'm in the hurricane, when I'm in this tumult, when everything is going on, it's going wild and we're attacking each other. The ego wants to win. We want to be the right ones. How it is very difficult to back down. How it's very difficult in that particular moment to give in. And I was thinking, why is this happening to me all the time? And then afterwards I realized it's because I haven't quite grasped the nuances yet. I'm saying it myself, and when I'm in calm state of mind, I understand that it is a misunderstanding of words. We put the wrong meaning in. I am using words which are triggering the others, so they want to attack instantly back, and then they're using some kind of trigger words, and then it just escalates. And as I've been thinking through what I have said, my opinions, I realized that what I have said is also not really representing what I am feeling and what I actually think about all day. It was just about winning the argument. And then I realized that I have to rethink my arguments. I have to build my arguments differently, and I'm gonna have to learn to present them in a different way. And it's a question of training. It's a question of training, of presenting the words in a different way, pausing, allowing the connection to higher self, the connection to the truth within, the love and kindness within, and then presenting it in a different way. Anyway, after this happened, the following day we were all more kind, because each one of us was kind of, oh, I don't want that to happen again. So when I'm looking at it from today's perspective, I realized, well, there was a meaning in it, because we all calmed down. We all realized this is not the way we want to talk with each other. So we all came a step closer to realizing that we want peace more than to be right. And really, if you add this idea today as well, it can only be myself I crucify. So if I realize that when I'm attacking or when I'm my ego wants to be right, I am actually attacking myself in the form of my children. This is the people I love the most in this world. So this is probably the easiest people I can train with. It's the easiest people where I can practice my forgiveness and my application to you matter to me. You are me. So I just wanted to share this with you, so just so you know, I am not without mistakes. I do many mistakes myself. So it can be but myself, I crucify. This idea is one step we take in leading us from bondage to the state of perfect freedom. Let us take this step today, that we may quickly go the way salvation shows us, taking every step in its appointed sequence as the mind relinquishes its burdens one by one. It is not time we need for this, it is but willingness, and what would seem to need 1,000 years can easily be done in just one instant by the grace of God. The dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. And when you hang on to it, like I said, if you hang on to it and think that you're self-righteous and then you're holding it against the other, you're actually nailing yourself to the cross. And as we are saying in the previous lesson, you become the jailer, because you're putting that person in as you're really bad, and then you become the jailer of the person, keeping them in that prison. As I said to you yesterday, that the day before yesterday, that yesterday we were going to go then to another family event. And on that family event, things actually went much smoother because we had the discussion 2 days before. So it's a learning phase. It's a learning phase for all of us. And sometimes you got to forgive yourself as well. You cannot blame yourself, because if you're blaming yourself, you are double prisoner. You're the one who is imprisoned, and you are the one holding the key to the prison cell. So you gotta forgive yourself. And this is just a question of practice. It's a question of practice to learn how do you need to forgive yourself. Because if you don't forgive yourself, you're the one who's crucifying yourself. It is super important to understand that fact and learn how to forgive yourself. You can just say it. I forgive myself for this. There is no reason to be ashamed about it. I forgive myself for feeling shame. You can explore this. What are the feelings you're having? I forgive myself for feeling shame. I forgive myself for feeling guilty. I didn't know better. This is one of the famous sentences which Jesus said on the cross. Father, forgive them because they don't know what they do. But he probably didn't say that. He probably said, let me forgive them because they don't know what they do. And then say it, let me forgive myself because I did not know what I was doing. And use these kind of sentences to take yourself off the cross, to take Jesus off that cross, which I find most annoying when I see it in the Catholic churches. And take other ones, take them off the cross. Take this sense of need of punishment, either yourself or others. Take that away. You don't want to burden yourself with this, because it is but yourself you crucify. The dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. Perhaps it seems to be salvation, yet it merely stood for the belief the fear of God is real. Let me read this again. The crucifixion, it merely stood for the belief the fear of God is real. And what is that but hell? If you believe that the fear of God is real, if you believe that it's necessary to be afraid of God, then this is hell. And some people say that this level of experience as a human is what really hell, what is meant by hell, the one which we are being taught in Christian religions. This is the hell, this is the purgatory, this is where we are needing to retrain our mind, because we need to help each other wake up, all of us together. Who could believe his father is his deadly enemy, separate from him and waiting to destroy his life and blot him from the universe, without the fear of hell upon his heart? This is the ones which are afraid of hell. Such is the form of madness you believe. If you accept the fearful thought, you can attack another and be free yourself. And this is impossible, because when you're attacking another, you are going with them in a hellhole. You're both in it. In fact, the other one, if he knows how to get himself out of that hellhole faster, you're going to be sitting in that hellhole alone. Until this form is changed, there is no hope. So you got to change the form of your ideas, the images that you're seeing, the form of your idea. Until you see that this, at least, must be entirely impossible, how could there be escape? The fear of God is real to anyone who thinks this thought is true, and he will not perceive its foolishness or even see that it is there, so that it would be possible to question it. So you gotta see that your fear of God, or your separation for God, or your idea that you are separate, you can even be separate from God, you gotta see that this is foolishness. It's impossible. And then you have to put this equation down. I actually quite like to write this down. What is God for me? Well, God for me is light, is the source energy, is the all-encompassing source. It is the universe, it's the intelligence, it's the light. So if that all this is, and what am I in relation to this? Well, I am the holy child of this. And what does it mean when you're the holy child of this? What state of mind are you in? Well, I'm then in happiness and joy and forgiving and understanding and overlooking and all-encompassing and inviting. So if I'm all this, how can this then be outside of me? Or how can I be outside of this? How can I be angry? That means if I am angry, I have excluded myself from this light, from this source. And I don't want to be excluded, so I have to give something up. I've got to give up the ego and say, no, I don't want you, because I want the light, I want the joy, I want the happiness. Because it is only myself I crucify when I'm attacking. It's myself I'm attacking. I'm attacking you in the other form, and then on top of it, I'm attacking myself because I am the jailed and the jailer. To question it all, its form must first be changed at least as much as will permit fear of retaliation to abate, and the responsibility returned to some extent to you. So when you question it, when you say, can this really be it? Can this be possible that I should be attacking this person? If you start questioning it, then some of the responsibility will be returned back to you. This is like the first step. It's just a question, observe it. Can it really be that God is out there? Can it really be that I am excluded out of this universe? Can it really be that I am not the Holy Son of God, not the light of the world? Turn it around. From there, you can at least consider if you want to go along this painful path. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive that it is but your thoughts that bring you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Our next step will be easy if you can allow yourself just to question this. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive it is but your thoughts that bring you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Okay? So once you have kind of questioned this and you've understood that it's your mindset which decides whether you're in hell or in heaven. So then the next step will be easy. If you take this one today, from there we go ahead quite rapidly. For once you understand it is impossible that you be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. Do you get this? Once you understand that it's not God who will punish you, that it's not God who wants to even punish you, then you're going to realize that it's you who's doing it. It's you who's putting these thoughts in between you and the light. It's you who's keeping yourself in that pocket of darkness we've been talking about in the former lessons. The pocket of darkness is, the way I see it, is that the light is everywhere. So for you to imagine that you're in darkness, you're kind of creating a ball where the light cannot come in. And you're kind of looking inside that ball, and then you see only darkness. And then you think that this is your reality, while the only thing you would actually have to do is just open up and see that you are already in the light. And this is how we are living. We're living in those pockets of darkness, or ball of darkness. We're kind of looking inwards into this darkness which we have created, this space where we have excluded the light. Just for those ones who have not been in the previous lessons. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive it is but your thoughts that bring you fear. Until you don't understand this or don't question it, take it as a possibility that it's maybe your thoughts mostly which are bringing you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Right? Until you don't kind of realize that the deliverance, the choice for salvation, the choice to see the light, it depends on you, on your decision, on your desire, on your intent. In Qigong, the intent is super important. In Qigong, we are training in every class. We are training the intent. We are setting the intent. We are realizing how powerful our mind is in the experience of this human life here, of the human experience. Our next step will be easy. If you take this one today, from there we go ahead quite rapidly. If you got to take this one step, it is a key step you got to take. For once you understand it is impossible that you be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. You do not now believe that fear is caused without. It's because you don't think that it's somehow from the outside that the fear of God happens. And God, whom you had thought to banish, can be welcomed back within the holy mind. He never left. And here is again, you got to establish where that within is. It's one of those things I've been preaching now. I'm like a preacher a bit, which I've been telling you to contemplate as an idea. Where is within? You got to establish that space, because once you establish that space where within is, this is where you can allow the light in. If you don't have a space, that is like the same as if I would like to capture that tea, but I don't have somewhere to put it. So how can I do it? If you want to capture the light, you have to establish a space in this dimension you are finding yourself in. Because there is never a time that you are not present in this body. There's never a time when this body is not with you while you are in this dimension, while you are in this experience of the human. The body is always with you, your breath is always with you, your heartbeat is always with you. So where is that space of you? Establish that. And the Qigong can help you if you allow yourself to establish and practice every single day, understanding your 3 energy fields, your central channel, and understanding that these energy fields, which are mind concepts, the mental concepts, you're creating them and you are filling them up, and you are allowing the light to sink back in, understanding the correlation between your negative emotions and the virtues you are born with. Is your birthright: happiness, joy, inner peace, trust, gratitude. You want to experience them. And God, whom you had thought to banish, can be welcomed back within the holy mind He never left within you. Salvation's song can certainly be heard in the idea we practice for today. And the idea is, it can be but myself I crucify. If it can be but you crucify, you did not hurt the world and need not fear its vengeance and pursuit. Do you see that? If it's only you crucifying, so you don't need to be afraid of the world. And you don't need to be afraid of its vengeance and pursuit. Nor need you hide in terror from the deadly fear of God projection hides behind. So also if you don't want to forgive yourself, you got to forgive yourself, even if you don't want to, just say it. I forgive myself for having done that in so and so. You don't even need to say this to somebody. You don't even need to say it loud. You can say it in your mind. But just do it. Just do it. Start somewhere. Realize that you are in charge. No need you hide in terror from the deadly fear of God projection hides behind. The thing you dread the most is your salvation. That is what we dread the most. You are strong, and it is strength you want, and you are free and glad of freedom. You have thought to be both weak and bound because you feared your strength and freedom, yet salvation lies in them. There is an instant in which terror seems to grip your mind so wholly that escape appears quite hopeless. When you realize once and for all that it is you, yourself you fear. You are fearing yourself. The mind perceives itself as split. Let's put this again. There is an instant in which terror seems to grip your mind so wholly that escapes appears quite hopeless. And it's not holy as in the Holy Spirit. It's whole as in the whole mind. When you realize once and for all that it is you fear, the mind perceives itself as split. And this had been concealed while you believed attack could be directed outward and returned from the outside to within. Outward into your field of projection. And then from that outside within. It's always yourself you are attacking. It seemed to be an enemy outside you had to fear. It seemed as if there was an enemy outside that you needed to fear. And thus a God outside yourself became your mortal enemy, the source of fear. Now, for an instant, is a murderer perceived within you. Now suddenly you realize, oh my God, it's me who's the murderer, and then you can't forgive yourself. Eager for your death, intent on plotting punishment for you until the time when it can kill at last, until you are dead, because you think that you are a body. Yet in this instant is the time as well in which salvation comes, for fear of God has disappeared. So this is where the salvation, when you realize I cannot possibly be the murderer, I cannot possibly be this because I am the one who is crucifying myself. In this particular moment, when you realize this is when salvation comes. For in this instant is the time as well in which salvation comes, for fear of God has disappeared because it's not necessary. Because first of all, God is not outside of you, God is within you. And you are the extension of that God. So the fear of God disappears when you stop being afraid of yourself and when you can actually forgive yourself. It is always about the forgiveness to yourself. Because you are the extension of God. You are every other person. And you can call on Him to save you from illusions in His love, calling Him Father and yourself His Son. Let me repeat this. And you can call on Him, you can call on God to save you from illusions. You can even say this, please God help me. Illusions in His love, calling Him Father and yourself His Son. Pray that the instant may be soon. You can just say that. Help me now to understand that it's only me I crucify. Use this if you're doing the Qigong class, either seated or standing meditation with me, depending what you fancy today. And step back from fear and make advance to love. Let go of fear. You don't need it. There is no thought of God that does not go with you to help you reach that instant and to go beyond it quickly, surely, and forever. When the fear of God is gone, there are no obstacles that still remain between you and the holy peace of God. How kind and merciful is the idea we practice. Give it welcome as you should, for it is your release. It is indeed, but your mind can try to crucify. You can only crucify yourself. You can only crucify your own mind. Yet your redemption too will come from you. And this is taking the authority back to yourself, realizing that you are in charge, that you are deciding how you're experiencing it. And it can be so incredibly scary. I know, because it's like, what? Is it all up to me? But who am I? I'm a nobody. No, you're not a nobody. You are the holy child of God. You're an extension of this light and this love. You are the Holy Son. You are the light of the world. And the world is patiently, and the universe is patiently waiting for you to remember this. We all are. So for today, I am suggesting this seated class of Qigong. Here you have got a standing class of Qigong, or here you have got the whole list of Qigong classes where you can choose from, where you can apply this lesson. It is only myself I crucify. Love, light and Qi to you.